2.0 edition.
I heard nothing.
The big news for Porsche is the brand new 2025 911 GTS with the T hybrid system. But that's not what we have here. This is a base Carrera convertible, aka Cabrio. And that's what we're going to focus on today. This Cartagena yellow, and I say yellow with some skepticism here, because this looks like lime green in the studio. And speaking of studio, this will be one of the last videos you will see of us, Mike and Ian, and this plaque, because the studio is no longer going to be part of Accelerate. We are taking our talent to the streets to bring you different environments, different looks in all kinds of weather. But now we are safe from the weather, and we're going to talk about this 2025 Porsche 911, the 992.2 Cabriolet. So on the front, you will see that it's pretty much almost the same as the 992.1, with the exception of some changeover on this headlight design. You can see on the front bumper it is slightly different, and that's about it. These look like Star Wars front ends. I mean, I don't know if I should say that.
Like what Star Wars?
I don't know, I don't watch Star Wars, but if I have to look like that mask or whatever that guy wears.
Oh,
like
Darth Vader?
Darth Vader, yeah. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
I guess.
These look really alien-like, these front headlights. I do love how Porsche, come back here, take a look.
Oh.
I love how on the bottom you see Porsche and the Porsche is illuminated. That's a really, really small touch that nobody on the planet is going to notice except for somebody like me that's reviewing it in serious detail. Now, the lower part of the bumper doesn't have vertical slots, they have horizontal slats. Now, as I walk around the side of this Cartagena yellow Porsche 911 992.2, we will look on the inside and you will see there are pieces of the exact same color. Now, it's not like back in the day where you had like this 3M kit of like double-sided tape with some plastic on it that you'd stick on your car on the interior to be like, hey, I'm pumping it up. These actually are form-fitted perfectly for this car. Well, no kidding, it's very expensive, but it looks that way when you first initially see it. Now, as far as wheels go, these are winter rims and tires. They have Michelin Pilot Alpine 5s, and they're 245s, you'd like to know, and they are 20s. In the back, when I first saw them, like, they gotta be like 275s, but they are 305, 30, 21s in the back. And I will tell you, this thing hooks like nobody's business in no matter what weather you get into. Now, this is a rear-wheel drive version. This is not all-wheel drive. There's no 4 to this. This is just strictly rear-wheel drive, and that's probably the only way that I would like to buy a Porsche in the rear-wheel drive format. Anyways, you do have color-matched, of course, mirror caps. You do have flush door handles, and because this is a Cabrio, well, look, you can see how flush everything is, but the one weird spot I would talk about is this. This seems like a really big open spot, even though it does have some weather stripping back here that's really rubberized and textured. It just seems like it should be form-fitted to this part right here. I don't know whether maybe it just looks too high and they just decided to recess it lower. I'm not really sure. Anyways, moving along the back here is where the change really happens. So let's look at it. But first, let me show you these back seats in the Cabrio. Very, very tight. It's really a 2+2. These are just to put shopping bags or a pet. Definitely not for a human, whether it's a baby or somebody that you don't like. Let me show you also how to put the top up, because it's simple. It's just a button and you push it and this is what happens. That does this, the top goes up, it is fully automatic, up it goes, and you have a nice, solid panel on the inside. So Ian, come inside and let me show the viewers, whoops, hey, come on in, come on in. Let me show the viewers what it looks like. See how it's like you have hard panels? Nothing soft about it. It feels the same as what a hard top would feel like. Anyways, let me pull it down, but actually, let me show you this. I don't think you saw this. Look at this, look how this comes up. Up and down. There we go. It sort of just slides up like an arm. Anyways, I will be out of the car in a second to show you guys the back. You know what I didn't talk about? The fact that these rims have colored center caps. Go take a look. To the back of my least favorite part of this 911. Now, I do love the car, but there's an angle when you stand here and you're like, wow, this part just seems a little bit too high and drops off fairly heavy. I don't know why. And then the second part I don't like is this spoiler. The spoiler is cool because it comes up, obviously, after a certain speed, and you can manually press the infotainment in the system, and then you can have it raised and lowered. But the thickness of it and the elegance of it just doesn't scream Porsche to me. Now, I like these pieces right here, what they've done with that. That's not new. That is on the 992, and we have done a review on the original one we first got a couple of years ago. But I like this third brake light here. Now, this activates when you hit the brakes and the spoiler is not up, because the spoiler has its own third brake light. Now, the part I do like, though, is this center bar that goes all the way across from end to end. You do have the Porsche right there. It is not illuminated like some of the newer ones you've seen out there, like the Taycan GT. And then you have the Turbo GT. And then you have the 911 Carrera right there, pretty straightforward stuff. You do have the two exhausts right there. The thing about it is that exhausts do make a difference in Porsches. No matter what Porsche you drive, when you go from normal to Sport Plus, you will definitely hear a difference. Well, the spoiler actually does go a little bit higher. I love how Porsche has designed the spoiler, so when you're driving down the street, everybody knows you have all the downforce in the world. And when you have this spoiler up, you can see a few things, like how much antifreeze you need to put in, how much pressure you got, the oil, your two little fans, which you can actually double up for some cooling on a hot day. And then you have this 3.0, letting everybody know it is a 3-liter and not a 4-liter. Boom! And then let's go in the front and see how much room you have. Obviously, this is where the storage is happening. Let's pull like this. Do I have any buttons? Yes, I do have a button there. Stuttgart, open up. Voila. You can fit 4 2x4s. If you're lucky.
I think we have a video of you fitting in there once too.
Yes, it was very claustrophobic and I will never do it again. So front seat of this Porsche 911 992. Well, this has a few options. So let's talk about them. These have 18-way adjustable seats. They are ventilated seats. They have the crested headrest. They do have chalk stitching on them, and they are an excellent seat. I mean, I've driven a ton of Porsches, and this is definitely the best all-around daily driver seat. So if you're looking to order one, definitely get these seats. Now, this does have the GT steering wheel. If you look at it, you do have the sport response button, the drive modes, and obviously this is a base 911, but you still have wet, normal, sport, and sport plus when it comes to your drive modes. It does have the 12 o'clock. Now, it's not colored. It is all black. Everything else in the center is pretty straightforward, including these paddles. They are black, and I really like them. I like that they're not silver. I like this clean look on the steering wheel. It is a thinner steering wheel. If you're used to a thick, like say BMW steering wheel, that's a little bit padded. This is a little bit more firm. I like this steering wheel better because it's just a lot more tossable when you're holding it. Now, they have made a change. The key no longer goes into the left side. It's strictly just a start and stop button here on the left-hand side now. Now, the door panel, pretty straightforward stuff. You still have your 3 memory seat. You do have the Bose sound system, and then you'll see across the top, you still also have the chalk stitching to match the seats. Now, the dash here is also where a big change has happened. This digital display now is like the newer Porsches. When you first see them on the electric cars like the Taycan, it's all done over there. This is pretty much the same. This hasn't changed. This does have sport chrono, so you do have an analog clock, which they have not made digital as yet, and hopefully, for the love of God, they never do. Now, you'll see what I talked about on the outside. You see it matches the same color. This is Cartagena yellow, and you have it on the dash, and you have it here a little bit on the center console. This specific one does have leather visors, which are an option. They do have an ionizer as well here as an option for smell. And then when you look right here, you will see that this is very typical Porsche. You do have this new shifter, which is not new in the 911, but it's new in general. It's no longer a larger shifter or one on the top here like some of the electric product. That they have not changed. Now, I did talk about on the drive how I don't like the HVAC controls, the fact you got to keep going up, 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 up. I wish they do change that, but at least it's clicky and it's not all digital like on the screen like the future is telling us. You do have 2 rotary knobs left and right to skip tracks, and on the right hand side you do have some of your HVAC controls. On the bottom here you do have your ventilated seats left and right, and then in the middle here you have to put the top down and the top up, and then a button here when you hit it.
Wow, those are the ventilated seats? Those are loud.
Yeah, but no, check this out. We didn't show the guys this. You hold that button down, and that is your air. What do you call it? Your
Air curtain.
not air curtain. It's more like a wind deflector. Actually, is the better term for it. You push that down, and yes, they are super loud. Now, the other thing to talk about is the sound system. Bose has really tightened up the sound system in this car. When you drive, and obviously you want to hear the engine, but sometimes you don't, you want to listen to tunes, it is excellent in this Cabrio, including the sound insulation with that top I showed you guys earlier. It is not like your typical convertible. It is definitely more insulated than, like, say, a regular other brand convertible. They've done a good job like insulating it, making the sound system sort of right fit for the car. And not that you really use it because you want to hear the engine, but if you do, the sound system is excellent. Anyways, back from there, I don't really like this, the fact that cup holder is here. This is not a new thing from 911s, but I don't like having the cup holder there. It just looks kind of silly. It should really be on the side here or something coming out of the dash. Check this out, guys. They must have heard me crying from the hills.
They just put it in there right now?
They just put it in there right now. And then if you're wondering where the wireless charger is, it is hiding right there. And it does fit a decent sized phone. Like, this is a Pro Max, and you can see I still have a little bit more room of space. There is 2 USB-Cs right there. And if you're wondering what the Porsche key looks like, it looks like every other Porsche key, and that's not a knock at all because these keys are awesome. Now, you have a few different options with this driver's display. This is your very typical Porsche design display, but they have a new one. Check this one out right here. That is a center tack where the red line is right at the top. That's a unique display, and I do really like it, actually. Now, one thing I'll show you guys is a 360 camera and the quality of it and how good it is. So check this out. In the 992.2, I have a twin-turbo flat 6 that makes 388 horsepower and 331 pound-feet of torque, which is 9 horsepower more than the last one. Okay, I'm in Sport Plus. Let's see if we can get to 60. I'm on winter tires. The water is kind of going away, but the road is wet. Four seconds flat. But most of the time it's 3.9 seconds, and some articles say that it does it in 4 seconds. That is with traction control slightly off. I will put traction control completely on, PSM on, and I'll try that again. Dude, I'm on winter tires, and it's wet out. Better. 3.76. Okay, so if you don't know Porsche product, it is the most stable sports car you can buy. It doesn't matter what other brand puts anything out. There's one guarantee about Porsche products, that no matter which model you get in, it hooks in any weather. It just does not matter. It's so good. I was trying to get this, like, the back end to kind of slide out a little bit, and even with the limited stability program off, obviously not completely off, but with the limited version on, it just took so well going around corners. It is insane, even like with winter tires, and it's wet out. So I have stability program completely on. Take this corner fairly quick. There's some gravel from the ground, and it just knows. It makes the worst driver feel like an inspired, confident driver, which is also kind of dangerous, but it's got every sort of traction, electronic stability, understanding the driver system on the like we're on the corner here, like look, little bit squiggle, and it knows. It's like, correct. I'm like, okay, correct. It's good. The worst driver is going to feel like a good driver. So unless the guy's like going nutso and just thinks he's indestructible, then obviously problems can happen, but that's a way higher limit than pretty much most cars out there that you just get into, start, and go around the corner. And ironically, this week we have another rear-wheel drive beast. That is the M3 in manual transmission, and it's way lighter on the back. Now, they've kind of put a spin on it. They've allowed you to adjust your traction in 10 different increments, so you can have a little bit of fun in the back end. This doesn't really allow you to have too much fun unless you completely switch the stability program off, and at that point you really have to know the car more than anything. But with the regular traction on and this limited traction, so basically when I hold the stability program down, what it'll do, it'll say PSM Sport, Vehicle Stability Restricted, PSM off. Now I can have one more level of turning it off, but with it on, like I hit it, and the back end comes out so gently. It's not really designed to drift. Porsches are not really drift machines. That M3 though is a drift machine because the back end just feels so light, which doesn't really give you confidence at high speeds. And the steering on that M3 feels a lot more wobbly, or doesn't feel as refined or as tight as this. This is an amazing feeling sports car, and it's just so sick. I mean, it's like, and I also am in Sport Plus, and I'm on a fairly bumpy road, and we use this road all the time, and normally I'd be bouncing like crazy in other products that really stiffen up the suspension, but they managed to give you a really good soft feeling, palatable, tolerable suspension, but still be able to handle like a monster. Now, if I could complain about one thing, it's about the HVAC and how you can't really turn the temperature up or down fast. It's just click, 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 click. And it's cool because it's tactile and you can hear it like a real click, like a perfect click actually. But it's the fact if you want to go from like 19 to like 25 Celsius, that is. Or the other way around, you get in the car, it's freezing cold, and you turn the heat up, and then the heat starts overwhelming you, and you want to turn it down real fast because you just all of a sudden realize, oh my God, I'm like sweating here. And then you try to turn it down, and you gotta go click, 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 and it just takes forever. That's my complaint. So the new 992.2. I just love how they name their cars. It's sick. So there are changes, right? We've got this new gauge cluster that matches up with the Taycan. We have a different rear end, a bit of a updated front end, and then you have some tiny things on the inside. Not a whole lot. So yes, it is a refresh, but it's more like a add fresh more than a refresh, because they're not really refreshing anything from the past. They're just add freshing it up. And it just checks all the boxes like the old one did. Also like the old one did, or like any other Porsche before then. So I don't have any complaints, man. Just the only complaint I have is the price. It just gets more expensive year after year after year. And if you want like a dream 911, it's so hard to get one that's under 200 grand new out of the box Canadian. And that's a lot of money. Well, for most of us at least. And for me, I just get the experience of driving it, enjoying it, and telling you guys about it, that Porsches just still knock it out of the park when it comes to a very stable sports car that looks great, that just doesn't get old. They've just mastered giving you all kinds of variety to fit the consumer. Maybe that's a lesson we should all take in our lives, to just do one thing and just slightly change it every day to get, like they say with the motivational guys, 1% better every day. I'm just not sure if this is 1% better than the old one every day, because the old one was also sick. And the looks are sort of subjective. I kind of like the old one a little bit better aesthetically on the outside. Now, the wing is an acquired taste. It was the same on the old one, not really a big difference, but I would say that it doesn't matter which one you buy, man. You're going to be loving life in a car like this, especially with this drive, because that's what you buy it for. And that's my take on 911s. Let's throw this thing into Sport Plus, press the Sport Response button that gives you 20 seconds of jam, and oh, it's so sick. Thanks for watching this review on the 992.2 911. We'll catch you on the next one.